Hello, Gerald here, and welcome to MyHowTos in Fusion. In this video, I want to show you how I would shuffle objects around. To give you a better understanding of what I mean by that, I've loaded up one of my old games here, Tisnart Shapes, and in this game, I have a booster, and it's called the Shuffle Booster. And what happens is when you click on this, and then click on anywhere on the board, it shuffles all the blocks around. One more time, like that. So that's the kind of effect that I want to show you how I would do it in Fusion. Obviously, there's many ways to get the same kind of effect, but this is just one way of doing it, and I've used it in a couple games now. So I think you'll like it. Hopefully you like it. And I will just jump into this. Alright, so I got a new application loaded up here in Fusion, and I am going to change a few things. I'm going to change the size. I'm going to bring it down to 1280 by 720. I am going to change the background of the frame a little bit. I don't like working on a white background like that, so we'll just do that nice little color of gray. Now we're going to need a few objects, obviously. The first object would be a object we can use for the blocks. Now I've already got a block here that I can use from another project I'm working on, so I'll just use that one. Nope, I have to find it again. Hang on. Yeah, I think I found it. Yeah, here it is here. Okay, so we'll use this, and for most games like the one I just showed you, they're usually set up in by 9x9 grid. So that's what I'll do with this one. I'll just duplicate it 9x9. I'll center everything in the I'll center everything in the frame here. Great. And this basically just there's like a bunch of different directions in here, and they all have just a different color. We'll need a button, and we'll call this button Shuffle. And we'll use this button for activating our shuffle events. Now we're going to need a few more objects. We use one of my favorite objects to move objects around in Fusion. It's the easing object. We'll need a controller type of object. So I use these all the time to hold and store my values instead of using global values all the time. I will call this, just for the sake of this video, a value holder. And we'll uncheck a few properties here. We won't need visible at start, we won't need save background, won't need transparent, and we won't need destroy object too far from frame, no, and use find detection. Uncheck that, we won't need that. Danny has drilled that into my head. If you ever watch Danny's videos, Danny from Click Team. Anyways, one more object. We'll need a list object, and we'll get that down here in the interface. So list object, and we'll put that in here. I'm going to leave it on screen for now, so you can see what's going on. I think that's all we'll need for now. So we'll jump into the events, and obviously if we run the screen now, the frame now, that's what we're going to get, and nothing's going on. So let's randomly set the directions of these blocks. Let's start here. So start a frame. We'll just set the direction to random, say 6. run frame now, and you see all the different colors. Let's go one more. Say random 7. There. Alright, so first things first, we're going to create a group, and we're going to put all of our events, for the shuffle events, inside this group, and we'll call this group shuffle blocks. Yeah. And uncheck active when frame starts, because we're going to use an event to activate this group, and that event will be our little button, our shuffle button that we set up there. When this button is clicked, we're going to activate shuffle blocks. I'm going to add one more condition in here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to check to make sure the shuffle blocks group is not already active, and we'll just negate that. That way, if this group won't be activated when you click on the shuffle button if it's already activated. So in other words, if the blocks are already shuffling around, you don't want to click on shuffle and have them shuffle again while they're shuffling around. Make sense? Good. Okay, and then here we're going to create another event in the shuffle blocks group, and we're going to call it we'll call it blocks position to list. Uncheck activate when frame starts again, because we don't want to activate it right away. We want to activate it through events. Close it up for a sec, and I'm going to create a new condition called on group activation. We are going to activate that group like so, and also we're going to reset the list each time that this group of events gets triggered. Now, first thing that we want to do is we want to start a loop for each loop for all of the blocks. So again, group activation, we're going to start a loop, or for each loop for the blocks, and we'll call it whatever, shuffle. Yeah, we'll call it shuffle, and then on that loop, shuffle for each block. We're going to add the blocks X and Y position to the list. So for each block, it's going to loop through each block, and it's going to add each block's X and Y position to this list over here. But I'm going to do Y position first, and then X position. So there's a reason for that. But let's add the event here, or the action. So under the list object, we're going to add a line, and that line is going to be I need to do a string convert here. So the blocks Y position plus, and you don't need this, but I like putting it in there so when I look at it, the lists, I know exactly what's going on. So I'm just going to add a comma there, and I'm going to add the blocks X position like so. So if I run that now, and I hit shuffle, it's added, see what it's done, it's looped through each one of these blocks, and it's added their Y position plus their X position. So the reason I put the comma in there is obviously for a visual representation that I can see what's actually going on. It makes it a little more clear when I look at it, especially when I'm trying to debug what's going on. Now you could obviously do this with an array too, instead of using a list object, but for this amount of blocks and everything, it's not going to hurt anything, and besides it's easier to show you using the list object. Alright, so back into our events here, and we're going to do only one action when event loops. And I'm going to, before I do that, I need to add some the blocks. Under the blocks, we're going to add some values here. So the first one, I will call it whatever, shuffle X position, and we'll do a shuffle Y position. And we're going to use these values to store the new X and Y position of each block to where they need to shuffle to on the board once we hit the shuffle button. I'm going to add a new group under here, and I'm going to call it shuffle positions. Uncheck active when a frame starts again, and under this group here, once it's added all the blocks positions to the list, we're going to deactivate that group. We're going to activate the next group, the shuffle positions. Great, now again, group activation. We're going to start another for each loop for all the blocks. We'll just drag it down, but this time I will call it add position. There, then okay, so the idea here for this group of events is we add each one of the blocks position to the list here. Now for this new group, the shuffle positions, the idea is to take loop through each one of these blocks and set their values, the values that we set here, the shuffle X and the shuffle Y. We're going to set in there new coordinates to move the block to. And the way we'll do that is we'll randomly go through this list here. So we'll pick one of these selections, one of these set of numbers from the list, and we'll give it to each block, and then we'll delete that line, and we'll continue doing that until these are all deleted from the list and each block has a new set of coordinates that it will move to. Then we'll use these coordinates with the easing object to move each block to that new position. I hope that made sense. Alright, so back into our events here. Now, first thing is we use our value holder here, and we'll give a new value in the value holder, and we will call it shuffle count. Yeah, shuffle count. Keep it at 0. Just bear with me for a sec. Now for first thing is to, under our value holder here, with the new shuffle count value that we added, we're going to set shuffle count to random, and nope, that's not what I want. To random number of lines in the list. So this will randomly pick one of these lines in the list object. And then once we do that, we will set we'll do Y position first. Set shuffle Y position to, we're going to do a value convert here to the left end of the string. Bear with me for a sec. Yeah, so the left side of the string, and I want to set this to 3. Oops, what am I doing? Just one sec. I'm confusing myself here. Alright, let's try this again. So we're going to set the shuffle Y position value, and we want the left end of the string, and we're going to do get line, and then when I ask for line number, we're going to use the random number selected by our shuffle count here, and the number of characters will be 3. So what happens is it'll pick one of these randomly, and the left 3 numbers right here, so like the 488 would be the Y position, and the 768, so it's the 3 numbers on the right, will be its X position. So for the X, shuffle X position, same thing, val, and this time we'll do the right end of the string, shuffle count, and number of characters 3. What did I do wrong? Oh, accidentally. Oh boy. I'll start over. Value. Right. Get line. The line number is the shuffle count. And again, the number of characters is 3. Like so. So, shuffle, it'll pick one of these lines randomly, and the first 3 digits on the left will be its Y position, its new Y position, and the 3 digits on the right will be its X position, where it will shuffle to. Alright, so now we're going to make the blocks shuffle. Oh, one more thing. Each time it goes through, I put this in the wrong spot, my goodness. Each time it shuffles through or loops through the objects and gives it its new shuffle XY position, we need to delete the line that it just chose. So we'll delete that line, and it's the line of the shuffle count. One action, one event loops. We're going to deactivate this group, and we're going to start a new group, and we'll just call it shuffle them. And up here we'll activate that group, shuffle them. Now what are we going to do down here? Well, we got to move the blocks to their new position. So on a group activation, oh, another thing you can do here too is give the blocks a flag. I just call it shuffle. And then up here, where we add, it's X and Y position to the list, we will also turn shuffle on. That way, I mean, if you have blocks that you don't want to move during the shuffle, then the only blocks that will move are the blocks that you've turned on shuffle for. So we'll go down here, group activation. We'll say if shuffle is on, we want to move the blocks, so we're going to use our easing object, and we'll move our blocks. We will use, we'll say ease in, ease out, and we'll do back and linear. Sure, we'll use that. We can always change this later. I love the easing object. Where are we going to move to? Well, we're going to move its X position to the new value that we set in the shuffle X position. We'll set its Y position, its new Y position, to the new value we gave it under the shuffle Y position. Time. Alright, I'm going to leave for 0 here for a sec. Now, under the value holder, let's add a new value and we'll call it shuffle time. Oh, shuffle time. And I'm going to put in 1,000 here. And we'll go back into this event. And under where it asks for the time, we use a new value that we just set in shuffle time. And the reason I do that is because, and another reason I use objects like this value holder is so that I can set values in here rather than going back into the events and setting them. So I can just change this on the fly. So this could be like 500 or whatever I want it to be. But it's easier to change it here than it is here, if that makes sense. Good. Anyway, so we set up the event to move our blocks to their new position. And once we do that, we want to make sure we turn off the flag shuffle and reset, oops, oh boy, reset their values, their X and Y shuffle values back to 0. Like so. Now if we run it, we've done everything right, you should be able to shuffle the blocks around. Shuffle, and you can see they're going off the screen there. And why are they doing that? Because I forgot to change a property in the list. We're going to make this 0 based instead of 1 based. I knew I'd forget that. Should work now. There we go. Obviously if I click shuffle again, nothing happens because we need to deactivate this group so that I can start all over again, because it's still activated up here. And we've set this so that you can't, it won't activate the shuffle blocks group if this is still activated. So we need to deactivate it. So one way to do it is object stop moving, blocks, group of events, deactivate shuffle them, yes, and make sure you deactivate the shuffle blocks group. There. Now each time we hit shuffle, they should shuffle. Kind of neat, eh? I like it. Obviously, you don't see any numbers here in the list because everything just happens so fast, and it's going through and it's deleting all the numbers that we set up. Okay, there is one problem with this scenario, and that is when we add all these numbers to the list. It's right now each block, their position, their X and Y position are 3 digits. All of them. So what happens? Let's say we move these blocks up to the top corner here. So this X position is now 32 and 32. That won't work in our code because we've set it to set their new positions to 3 characters to the left of each string and 3 characters to the right of each string. So if we run this now and we try to shuffle them, you can see it's messed up because it's moving some of them off over here. There is a fix for this. And this obviously would happen too if your blocks, say we're down here and it's Y position was like 1000 and something. Well, obviously it's over the 3 digits. So I do have a fix for this. So I will leave those the way it is for now. And one way to fix this is just to add some extra characters in here. It shouldn't be any more than 4. I mean, if your Y position of a block is 1080, then that's 4 digits. So that's 4 digits that we should take into consideration when doing this. So what I will do, just to be funky here, is the Y position is always first, and it's always 3 digits to the left of the string. And I'm going to add another list object in here. Show you what I'm talking about. So the list object 2, we'll add the same string here. Okay, you can see right here, like this one here, it's X position. Remember, Y is first and X is second. Its X position is 32, 96, and we've set the code or the event to track for 3 digits to the right. And what it's doing is doing the 2, 3, and then the comma. Obviously, it's going to ignore the comma and just use the number, but you can see the problem here. It's moving over to 32, these blocks over here. So, anyways, one way to fix that is let's change these to add 4 digits to the left and 4 digits to the right. So we'll go back here and we'll just change this to 4. And change this to 4. So now it's going to look 4 digits to the left for the Y position, 4 digits to the on the right of the string for its X position. So we just add some extra characters in here. So for the Y position, we will add, let's see, we'll do, I'll put Y, X, 0, 0. Copy that. And I'm going to do the same thing in for the X position. So now when we run it, it's working. And the reason why, and this might be a little confusing here when you're looking at the code, but that's the reason I put Y and X here. So you can see where the Y is. So it goes 544Y. That's 4 digits to the left. And then 4 digits to the right is the 445 Yeah, so the reason I put the 0, 0 in there is because if it's, say like for example this top block here, it's X position and Y position. This one will be setting at 32 to 32. So if we want the X position 4 digits on the right, you know, if it's at 32 and we add the 0, 0, then it'll make sure that it sets it at 32. And yeah, right here, that's the example right here. So this block here will set at 32 by 32. So if it's going to go 4 digits to the right for its X position, we add the 0, 0, it leaves it at 32. So when it stores the value in its shuffle X position, it'll store it as 32. And for the right, or for the Y position on the left here, it goes 4 digits to the left. So it's only going to read the 32, so it stores its Y shuffle position at 32. Hope you get all that. That makes sense. Now, one other thing you can mess around with here, of course, is the easing object. And one of the reasons I like the easing object is because you can set up so many different movements. I'm just going to line these back up into frame. So for example, just to show you, I'll set another value in here, and I'll call it movement type. I'm typing with a sore hand, so that's why I'm going so slow here. We'll set it at 1. So under the event where we move it, we'll say if movement type equals 1, then we'll do this movement that we have set up here. What did I do? Oh, I did shuffle count. If movement type is 1. I still did it. What am I doing? I didn't set it to 1. There we go. So movement type is 1, then it'll move. And we can get rid of these list objects for a minute. So let's type in movement type is number 2. We'll just copy and paste it. And we'll change this one to movement type is number 2. We'll change the movement type. Let's try back and elastic. Just hit OK for all of these. Let's see what happens now. Oh, okay, hang on here. We didn't change this, so let's make this number 2. That's a little different. And here's the cool thing too, you can change the speed too. Whoa. Yeah, that might be a little too fast. Let's set up another thing here just to make this a little easier for the example. Whatever, do an edit box and a new event. Always set movement type to the numeric value that we set in the edit box. So let's type 1000. What's going on? Oh, set shuffle. No, yeah, shuffle time. Let's try that again. 1000 shuffle. Let's try 2000. I should slow it down. Whoa. Let's insert something else here. We'll use anything. We'll use a combo box, sure. And we'll set up some numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds good. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so I'm drawing a blank here. Just give me a sec. We will set movement type to get current line number and start a frame. Set current line to 1. Oh, I forgot to add this. That's our second movement. Let's add a new movement, but first, yeah, okay, so we'll add a new movement. Say this time we'll set it to 3. And we'll edit the movement. This time let's try leave it at ease in, ease out. And we'll do back and bounce. Okay. Let's try one more. Try movement number 4. This time let's go back, and then what haven't we done here? No, let's do different. Let's try something weird. Linear, and then back. Okay, let's try that out. So 1000 for the move speed. Shuffle. Yeah, let's try number 2. That's okay. Try number 3. 4. Set it up 500. See what happens. Whoa, that's fast. 2000. Alright, now you can see what's going on more. And you know what? It's using the same movement for all of them. What's going on? Oh, I forgot to set this up. So, movement type. Hang on a sec. Okay, obviously I'm not thinking right. Okay, delete that. We'll just say selection has changed. Then we'll change movement type to the current line number that we changed to. Let's try it now. Alright, set 1000. Shuffle. There we go. Movement number 2. Yep. Number 3. Yeah, now you can see the difference. Let's slow it down even more. Movement 3. Movement 2. Anyway, you get the idea. Obviously, you're not going to have it that slow in your game. Oh, shoot. I was just trying to show you some different examples the easing object, and how you can use it to move your objects around. I love the object, and I'm sure you will too if you try it. Anyway, that's it. I've dragged on long enough. Perhaps I could upload this with comments to my site or something later. Anyway, let me know what you think. Cheers.